Formula One is a sport defined by speed, precision, and at times danger. Over the decades, numerous crashes have left indelible marks on the history of the sport. While some incidents have had tragic outcomes, many non-fatal crashes have also left profound impacts, prompting significant changes in safety regulations, influencing championship outcomes, and cementing legendary rivalries. Fiery conclusions to controversial incidents, these pivotal moments have shaped the course of Formula One history. This list highlights 5 of the most iconic and influential non-fatal crashes from 1970 to 2000, each contributing to the evolution and enduring drama of the sport. Who doesn't know the infamous rivalry between Titans, Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna? The 1989 Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka is one of the most famous and controversial races in Formula One history, where this fierce rivalry dating back to the 1988 Portugal GP arose to its zenith. This race not only decided the World Championship but also epitomized fierce competition and personal animosity between the two drivers. Ironically enough, destiny placed these two as teammates at McLaren. Senna and Prost had been embroiled in a heated battle for the championship throughout the 1989 season. Tensions reached a boiling point at Suzuka, penultimate race of the year. Prost led the championship and needed to finish ahead of Senna to secure the title. The defining moment came on lap 46 when Senna attempted to overtake Prost at the chicane. The two cars collided, forcing Prost to retire from the race. Senna, however, managed to restart his car with the help of marshals and continued racing. He eventually crossed the finish line first, seemingly securing the victory and keeping his championship hopes alive.
I can't accept not to win.
However, controversy erupted when the race stewards disqualified Senna for rejoining the track improperly and gaining an advantage. This decision handed the race victory and the World Championship to Prost. The aftermath of the incident saw both drivers and their respective camps embroiled in a war of words, further fueling their already intense rivalry.
Battle is going to go on.
The collision at Suzuka in 1989 was a defining moment not just for the Senna-Prost rivalry, but for Formula One as a whole. It led to significant changes in race regulations and officiating to prevent similar controversies in the future. Niki Lauda's crash at the 1976 German Grand Prix is one of the most harrowing and heroic stories in Formula One history. This incident not only highlighted the extreme dangers of the sport, but also showcased Lauda's extraordinary courage and determination to return to racing against all odds. The 1976 season was marked by an intense rivalry between Niki Lauda and James Hunt. Lauda, driving for Ferrari, was leading the championship and had built a considerable points advantage over Hunt.
Niki Lauda, 29 anni, austriaco.
From the start, a short straight to the south curve where a 180-degree turn brings the cars back behind the pits. Then 2 left-handers in quick succession and down through Hatzenbach to the 2-kilometer-long racing stretch through Flugplatz.
The German Grand Prix was held at the infamous Nürburgring Nordschleife, known as the Green Hill, for its treacherous layout and high-risk conditions. Despite concerns about safety, the race went ahead. The weather forecast had projected that August 1, the race day, would be a rainy day.
Line is all important here. Watch harness.
He and Stewart resumed their summit duel
As soon as
at
the race
Nürburgring.
started, the rain stopped and paved the way for dry weather. The weather was so unpredictable that some parts of the track were wet and others were dry. This led to a crucial decision about tire selection.
Sometimes right off it.
Most drivers opted for wet tires to handle the slippery conditions, but Lauda made the bold decision to start on slick tires, anticipating that the track would dry out quickly. Slick tires, or smooth tires, provide better grip on dry surfaces, but are less effective on wet or damp sections. Lauda's choice was a high-risk, high-reward strategy aimed at gaining a competitive edge as the track dried. However, this decision proved disastrous. On the second lap, Lauda's Ferrari hit a wet patch on the track. The slick tires could not maintain grip on the damp surface, causing Lauda to lose control of the car. He crashed into the barriers, and the car burst into flames upon impact, trapping him inside the burning wreckage. Several fellow drivers, including Arturo Merzario, Harald Ertl, Brett Lunger, and Guy Edwards, heroically stopped their cars and rushed to help. They managed to pull Lauda from the inferno, not before he suffered severe burns to his face and inhaled toxic fumes that damaged his lungs. Lauda was airlifted to the hospital, where he was given the last rites as his condition appeared critical.
In un ospedale di Mannheim gli ricostruirono il viso. Nicky non lottava solo per vivere, ma per tornare a correre. Marlene, proprio lei,
Remarkably,
lo aiutò
just 6
nelle sue
weeks
arte
after the
velocità.
accident, Lauda made an almost miraculous return to racing at the Italian Grand Prix. His face was still heavily bandaged, and he was in immense pain, but his determination to compete was unwavering. Lauda's comeback is one of the most inspiring stories in sports history. His determination and resilience earned him his immense respect. This event highlighted the need for improved safety standards in Formula One. The sport responded by accelerating efforts to enhance car and track safety, leading to significant advancements in the years that followed, which included better fire-resistant materials, improved medical response protocols, and more stringent safety regulations for tracks and cars. Lauda's crash and his courageous return to racing remain a defining chapter in Formula One history. The 1998 Belgian Grand Prix is remembered as one of the most chaotic and dramatic races in Formula One history. The race, held at the iconic Spa circuit, became infamous for a massive multi-car pileup at the start and a dramatic clash between championship contenders, particularly Michael Schumacher, highlighting the unpredictable nature of motorsport and the critical importance of race safety protocols. The Belgian Grand Prix took place on August 30, 1998, under treacherous weather conditions. Heavy rain had left the track extremely wet, creating a perilous environment for the drivers. As the race began, visibility was poor, and the slippery surface posed significant challenges. As the cars sped down the hill from La Source to Eau Rouge on the opening lap, David Coulthard's McLaren lost control, spinning out and crashing into the wall. The sudden crash triggered a chain reaction as drivers behind him, unable to see clearly or slow down in time, collided with each other. The result was a spectacular and terrifying pileup involving 13 cars, one of the largest in Formula One history. The chaos was immense. Debris was scattered across the track, and several cars were completely destroyed. Miraculously, none of the drivers involved in the initial crash were seriously injured, thanks to the safety measures in place at that time. The race was restarted after an hour-long delay, but the treacherous conditions continued to cause problems, leading to more crashes and incidents.
On exit from La Source, only to be spun backwards into the path of Johnny Herbert Sauber. The conditions remain atrocious, and Eddie Irvine spins out of a strong third place for Ferrari. Damon Hill took advantage to lead for Jordan.
Michael Schumacher was in a strong position to take advantage of the situation, quickly built a commanding lead after the restart, showcasing his exceptional skills in the wet conditions.
Jean Todt implored Ron Dennis to ensure that there were no delays, but with DC sticking absolutely to the racing
However,
line in order to
the drama
minimize the
peaked
effects of spray
on lap
from the
25 when Schumacher, leading the race, collided with the lap car of David Coulthard in heavy spray. Furious and believing Coulthard had deliberately slowed down to cause the collision, Schumacher stormed into the McLaren garage, looking for a confrontation. The scene was chaotic, with Schumacher angrily accusing Coulthard of trying to kill him. Schumacher's retirement from the race was a significant blow to his championship hopes, allowing Mika Hakkinen to maintain his lead in the standings. Damon Hill eventually won the race, delivering Jordan Grand Prix their first ever victory, with teammate Ralf Schumacher finishing second, marking a historic 1-2 finish for the team. 1998 Grand Prix was surely the epitome of chaos, with high tension and raw emotion that forever be etched in the annals of Formula One history. The San Marino Grand Prix weekend at Imola began with Barrichello's terrifying crash during the Friday practice session. Riding for Jordan, Barrichello approached the Variante Bassa chicane, high speed, when his car became airborne after hitting a curb.
Nicht zu erkennen. Das ist der Jordan von Barrichello. Unfall in
The car somersaulted through the air before smashing into the top of the tire barrier and coming to a halt upside down.
Überspringt die Reifenstapel sogar. Das war böse. Die Curbs haben das Auto angehoben und haben es oberhalb der Reifenstapel in die Mauer prallen lassen. Damit ist das Qualifying natürlich zunächst unterbrochen. Eine ganz bittere Erfahrung für den jungen Rubens Barrichello, der ja als das nächste Juwel eigentlich gehandelt wird in der Formel 1. Er ist der junge Fahrer, um den sich eigentlich alle Top-Teams reißen. Man glaubt, dass er wohl der Nächste ist, der auf
Barrichello lost consciousness briefly, and the sight of his motionless body caused immediate concern.
Er ist auch ein sehr unbeschwertes, heiteres Gemüt. Und umso bitterer, dass er hier diesen schweren Unfall erlitten hat. Wir hoffen natürlich, dass er so benommen er jetzt auch scheint.
Fortunately, the medical team responded quickly and Barrichello regained consciousness.
Sicherlich erfahren.
You've seen Rubens. It's all right. It's all right. He's shocked, of course.
He suffered a broken nose and a sprained wrist, but remarkably escaped without life-threatening injuries. While Barrichello's crash was serious, the true horror of the weekend was yet to unfold. The very next day during qualifying, Roland Ratzenberger lost his life in a high-speed crash at the Vinalillo corner.
Would have been far worse. I mean, to see Rubens walking about this morning was as a delight, really. The level of the impact yesterday. But,
his death was the first fatality during a Formula One race weekend in 12 years and sent shockwaves through the paddock. On race day, tragedy struck again when Ayrton Senna, one of the sport's greatest drivers, suffered a fatal crash at the Tamburello corner. Senna's death marked a profound and devastating moment for Formula One, leading to an intense period of mourning and reflection within the racing community. Barrichello's crash, occurring just before these tragic events, is often viewed as a grim omen for what was to come. The 1994 Australian Grand Prix in Adelaide is one of the most pivotal and controversial races in Formula One history. It is remembered for the dramatic collision between Michael Schumacher and Damon Hill, which ultimately decided the World Championship. The 1994 season had been marked by tragedy and fierce competition. Ayrton Senna's death at Imola earlier in the year had cast a long shadow over the championship. But it had also opened up the titled race. Michael Schumacher, driving for Benetton, and Damon Hill, driving for Williams, emerged as the main contenders for the championship. Schumacher led Hill by a single point. The race started with both drivers under immense pressure, knowing that any mistake could cost them the championship. Schumacher took an early lead, but on lap 36, he made a rare error. His Benetton car slid wide and hit the wall, damaging his suspension.
From the Ferrari team with Berger, he's pitted on lap 35. This is an 81-lap race, therefore he was not far off half distance. Now that could well have meant that it looks as if he's making just one stop.
Sensing an opportunity, Hill closed in rapidly on the ailing Benetton. As Hill attempted to pass Schumacher at the East Terrace corner, Schumacher turned in and the two cars collided.
The German is out of the Australian Grand Prix, and Damon Hill only has to keep going to be world champion of 1994, but can he keep going? Because he hit Schumacher's car.
Schumacher's car was launched into the air before crashing into the tyre barriers, ending his race. Hill managed to continue, but had sustained damage to his front suspension.
Protective barrier. Now you can see Damon Hill's right front wheel is canting right over. He's got a puncture in the front left.
Yes, and I think hopefully, no, he's bent his wishbone as well. We can see it on the onboard camera there. He's got a bent left front suspension. But what needs to happen now, clearly Schumacher is out. The question is, can they repair Hill's car? Can he get out? And can he get into the top six and get a point?
Hill limped back to the pits, where his team discovered the damage was too severe to repair quickly. He was forced to retire from the race, handing over the World Championship to Schumacher.
But he was 54 seconds behind the leaders. Damon obviously extremely worried. The question is, how long is it going to take them to repair whatever damage there was? You see, he's been in the pits for about 16 seconds now. And Mansell has gone through, Berger has gone through, and Lacey has gone through, Hakkinen has gone through.
And Patrick Head there's looking at that left front wishbone, Hill shaking his head. He knows in his heart of hearts that it is all over, and it really is not his fault. Get some on board from Damon Hill. Let's have a look.
The incident immediately sparked controversy and debate. Many accused Schumacher of deliberately causing the collision to secure his championship, while others argued it was a racing incident. The collision remains one of the most debated incidents in Formula One history. Schumacher's aggressive tactics were criticized by many. He maintained that it was a racing incident. The FIA investigated, but ultimately did not penalize Schumacher.
The responsible team is going to send Damon Hill out with a bent wishbone. They won't be able to replace it. You can tell, even seeing his eyes, how bitterly disappointed he is. The World Championship has literally been torn from his hands. Michael Schumacher doesn't know this, of course. He's standing behind the pit wall, waiting for Damon Hill to come round.
If you've stuck with me for this long, thank you. Remember, folks, to let me know your opinions on this list. This is the Incentivizer signing off.